Hello, Internet. So when it comes to welding, the most important factor in terms of learning is money. Community college is by far the best option to become a better welder, not because of instruction, but because after tuition, you get free metal to weld on, free welding wire, free electricity, and free shop space. My education at Los Angeles Trade Technical College cost about $7,000 for the entire one-year program. As a military veteran and because of the GI Bill, I learned how to weld for free. What is the advantage of community college over Lincoln Welding School or Hobart Welding School? Well, at a community college, you get more arc time than both. Community college is cheaper with financial aid, and you get college credit that can be applied towards universities. The only downside to community college is the wait time if classes are full. Now, if you can't afford school and you need to work, the next option is getting a job at a shop. The only downside is that you increase the likelihood of learning bad habits. You will probably have to be a grinder for a welder or a welder's helper for years, and you will not be able to get as much arc time as a person that paid to learn. You don't need school, but you will basically have to be a welder's bitch for a few years or doing bitch work to learn the trade. If you pay for school, you can avoid a lot of headache, trust me. Now, why should you listen to me? Well, I've worked at various aerospace companies TIG welding on thin materials. In terms of on-the-job training, companies have paid thousands of dollars for me to learn their components, and I've probably practiced on a few metric tons of superalloys at many multi-million-dollar facilities. One company I worked for in Valencia called Harco Semco, I saw boiler makers, pipe welders, and iron workers all fail the weld tests miserably. That company probably interviewed 20 welders a week, but very few had the skill to get in. If a boiler maker or pipe welder passed the weld test, they typically lasted a week because, keeping it real, those welders do not have the skill to work on thin materials in a fast-paced production environment. Here's a photo of one of the more difficult things you will see in the field as a welder. They are titanium thermocouples from Harco Semco. They are 35 thousandths of an inch thick and are welded without an argon purge. Any discoloration is a fail. Thick pipe is easy. This is difficult. Now, there are plenty of videos of welders welding razor blades or aluminum cans. That's great, but that is not production, and that does not put bread on their tables. So that stuff is useless and a parlor trick to get them clicks on YouTube. Tip number 1, focus on your offhand and learn how to feed TIG filler metal. Learning how to manipulate torch is important but straightforward. With huge cups and huge lenses, you can cheat with a torch hand and get away with quite a lot. In terms of the torch hand, as long as the distance between the metal and the tungsten, also known as the arc gap, is small, then that's pretty much all you need to worry about for most applications. Feeding is more important because it gives you another way to control temperature and fill holes efficiently. If you can consistently feed the wire, that opens you up for turntables, more consistent welds, and gives you more leeway in case you make a mistake. To improve your offhand feeding techniques, get wire of various thicknesses. On my table, I have 30 thousandths MIG, 45 thousandths TIG rod, and some large 3/32 rod. Grab similar sizes and practice with each. Many pipe welders will feed TIG wire using 2 fingers and the space in between their thumb and index. That technique only works well for thick materials or for slow welders. That technique is extremely limited because there is less range of motion, it is slower, and it is less precise because there are fewer points of contact. The proper feeding technique is to use 4 fingers for maximum control, speed, and precision. You take the wire and hold it in between the ring and middle fingers for stability. To feed, you push the wire using both the thumb and index fingers. Learning the proper feed technique is easy for beginners because they have no bad habits. If you are a pipe welder or have welded for years using the other technique, learning the proper technique will be challenging because you have to fix years of doing it the wrong way. Tip number 2, strengthen your hands, fingers, and wrists. You use your body for welding, and the stronger you are, the easier it is to manipulate a torch and weld. Before I was a welder, I did a lot of gymnastics and handstands. I see plenty of welders struggle with overhead welding simply because their arms tire quickly. When your body is strong, you can weld longer and with more precision. Ideally, handstands against the wall are the best way to strengthen your hands. Using 100% of your body weight will get your arms in great shape and make your welding life much easier. However, most welders are not strong enough or too lazy to put in that kind of work. The next best thing are baseball pitching exercises or anything else that will strengthen your fingers. Tip number 3, stretching. When welding, your hands will eventually cramp up. Most welders have zero clue how to properly warm up their hands and wrists. Simple handstand stretches I learned as a gymnast helped relieve any cramps I got while welding quickly. Another benefit to constantly stretching your hands is that it is a form of physical therapy helping with blood circulation. As a welder, your hands are your money makers. Taking care of them with some basic stretches is smart, and they don't teach that at any welding school on the planet. Well, that concludes my 3 tips to improve your TIG welding without a welding machine. This year I'll be re-uploading some of my aerospace videos and actually explain what's going on to give new welders a better understanding of industry on the job that they cannot find on Welding Tips and Tricks, Weld.com, or 6061. My channel is not monetized because it's too small. I share this information for free at no financial benefit to myself. If you learned something or found the information useful, please smash that like button, share this video, and click subscribe. Peace.